Vienna, Stockholm, Istanbul, Tokyo. Western Union ought to vote you a dividend. It's past midnight, Doctor. You should be home in bed. I can't understand why you had to operate tonight. Dr. Hudson.
Yes, Ann. Now, don't start to mother me.
Oh, don't worry. After 12 years, I know when I'm licked. It's a wonderful speech, Doctor. Even in the humdrum of typing it up, I was thrilled. I know everyone else will be tomorrow.
You know, Ann, of all the honors that the kind but mistaken world intends to bestow on me tomorrow, only one is real.
And what's that?
Having the austere superintendent of nurses type my speech.
Oh, you. Even the best of us have to butter up the boss occasionally.
All right, I quit. But I wish the substance were as true as the typing.
Now, that will do. It's a wonderful speech, and you know it.
I haven't. If I could only speak the truth.
You've been acting strangely all day.
What is this, a wake? You ought to be in bed, Wayne.
Come in, Dr. Means. We're reminiscing.
No, thanks. No midnight gab sessions for me. Someone has to be on the job tomorrow if this hospital's to keep running.
Now, Bob, you know perfectly well this hospital runs better without me. I'm no executive.
No. No, you're not.
You see? There speaks the man who raised me. He isn't fooled by all this hullabaloo.
You have something far more important. You lead. You inspire.
Oh, now, Bob, don't.
When I was your superior, when you were on my staff at Center Hospital, I saw you become a great surgeon, a great healer almost overnight. I shan't be at the ceremonies tomorrow. I'm no hand at public congratulations, but I want you to know that it is a great honor for me to have you now as my superior, to have served under you. Good night.
I wouldn't have believed it. Good night, Doctor.
Good night. The burden of truth has become more than I can bear. From the moment I began to write the speech that must be delivered tomorrow before my colleagues from all over the world, I've been tortured by the thought that I must acknowledge these extravagant honors, which I do not deserve, by uttering platitudes and generalities. I am prevented from speaking the truth, so I have determined to write down the truth in this journal, knowing that it will never be read until after my death. 12 years ago, I was staff physician in a Middle Western city. Ann Talbot was a nurse in the hospital, and she had more than her share to put up with, at least as far as I was concerned.
Here's the chart on the Fowler girl. How's old crosspatch Hudson this morning?
Crosser than ever.
Well, it's good to know some things don't change.
If you can't do it properly, get someone who can.
Uh-oh. Looks like Dr. Hudson just won't lose that charming personality of his. What's the matter, Betty? Did the mean old doctor snap at you?
He said I didn't sterilize these properly. I swear I'll never go near him again. I'll turn in my white cap before I even speak to him.
Well, don't worry. If he didn't bite, you won't get hydrophobia. Sticks and stones, you know the rest. I'll take these. You go get yourself a cup of coffee. And you know, get Kathy.
I don't know why I'm not getting any better, Doctor.
What do you expect, miracles?
What's really the matter?
Advancing age and continued dissipation.
When do you want to see me again?
2 weeks.
Okay.
Dr. Hudson, I think it's just wonderful.
What do you mean?
If I was sitting in a pink cloud feeling shipshape, as if I owned the entire world, do you know what I'd do?
No, what?
Stay as far away from you as I possibly could.
My, she does have an acid tongue today, doesn't she?
What do you think you're trying to prove, Dr. Hudson? I know why you act as you do, but how do you think Mrs. Hudson would feel if she could see you?
Let's leave my wife out of this. She's gone. She's dead.
And the bitterness began the day you realized there wasn't one thing you or the field of medicine could do about it.
All right, let's not talk about it now. It may give you a certain sense of elation to know that I'm resigning from the staff.
Oh, you are you?
Got a chance to go with a big pharmaceutical lab in Detroit.
Okay, Betty, I'll take her.
Hello, Kathy. Hello.
Hello, Princess.
Now, before you snap my head off, let me tell you that the convalescent children are being entertained on the lawn in 15 minutes by the circus in town. I thought you just might like to take your daughter.
Did you tell her I'd take her?
Aunt says she'll buy me a red balloon and a sack of popcorn, all for myself.
Well, you know how busy I am. We're understaffed. You had no right to tell her anything of the kind.
Dr. Hudson, I'm counting to 10. Slowly, but I'm counting.
Well, suppose an emergency comes up. Suppose...
Dr. Hudson's office. Just a minute. Well, you just got your wish. Emergency ward.
Hello, Hudson speaking. I see. All right, I'll be right down. They just brought in a girl, thrown from a horse, severe concussion. So I guess you'll have to take the afternoon off if Kathy's going to see the circus. Well, in my opinion, she can stay safely in this coma for 48 hours. By that time, at the latest, she must undergo surgery.
Russell and Finley are both in Europe.
What about Shulman at Johns Hopkins?
Yes, we might get him to fly out.
Natalie Faulkner. Only relative, grandfather, Clive Faulkner. That name sounds familiar.
He's one of the best sculptors in the country.
Oh, yes, I knew I'd seen the name.
He left word to spare no expense.
Well, that's something.
Come along to my office. We'll put in the call to Shulman. I see. Whom would you recommend, then? Walton in San Francisco? Thanks. I'll put in a call. Schulman's on vacation in the Adirondacks. Can't be contacted. Get me Dr. Jules Walton, San Francisco. Rush emergency. I'll hold on.
Where is this Clive Faulkner, the grandfather?
Seems to have gone home.
The devoted type. I'll get his number. Nurse Wilson. Give me Clive Faulkner's phone number.
Yes, doctor.
Oh, hello, Walton. Mean speaking, Center Hospital. We've a case, cerebral hemorrhage, severe concussion, basal fracture. Can you fly out? I see. Well, whom can you suggest, then? No, he's in the Adirondacks. Oh, Pierce, Chicago? Well, I'll try him, thanks. Operator, get me Dr. Coleman Pierce, Chicago, immediately.
Well, come in, come in.
Well, keep trying, it's urgent.
What's Faulkner's phone number?
I'm sorry, Dr.
What's
Hudson.
his number?
He doesn't have a phone.
Of course he has a phone.
No, he doesn't have one.
Well, what's his address, then? We'll wire him.
I'm sorry, but
He doesn't have an address either?
he's outside the city limits. The telegraph office will just mail it to
For
him.
the love of Mike.
I'm very sorry,
Well,
but...
stop being sorry and give me the card. Well, go on, get out. You're no help. Well, we'll have to get his okay for surgery. I'll drive out myself.
I think you'd better send Anne out to Faulkner's.
I can't. She's at the circus. What a crazy, mixed-up world. What's the good of it? Who cares?
A grip on yourself if you want to remain at Center Hospital.
As you say, if I want to remain. I'm Dr. Hudson from Center Hospital. I want to see Mr. Faulkner about his granddaughter. I haven't got much time.
Yes, sir. Dr. Hudson, sir. It's about Miss Napoli. Oh.
What kind of man are you? Your granddaughter lies at the point of death in a hospital. Don't you care?
Of course I care.
But you continue to work.
What else can I do?
Look, we're trying to locate a brain specialist. If we're lucky enough to get one to fly out here in time, he has to have your consent before he can operate. Or is all this too mundane for you?
I'm sorry, I thought it was understood. Since there seems to be some misunderstanding, however, I'll sign this. It will give you complete authority.
You realize, of course, that this girl may very possibly die.
She's not going to die.
You have special knowledge of that?
No. I'm simply a man who believes. Doctor, this piece of scup, would you like to be the best doctor in this town, in this state?
Look, I don't want to seem rude, but just now I'd like to get out of here.
All you have to do is follow the rules. There's a formula, you know. I came upon it by accident.
Accident? It's a very appropriate word. Your granddaughter's dying because of an accident.
I say accident because I'm not crazy enough to believe that it's by design. But we must find the reason for it.
I'll leave that to you, Mr. Faulkner.
Doctor. Come back here tonight about 9 o'clock, and I'll tell you what you want to know.
What I want to know?
Yes. I'll be waiting for you.
In case you're interested, Pierce of Chicago can't fly out in time for the operation. There's one other man, Murphy, in Boston, but if he can't come...
I've already told you. I don't believe she will die. Sit down, please. Cigarette? Cigar, perhaps?
A cigarette's fine. I had no intention of coming here tonight.
I know that.
Well, now, if it's that, I don't care to hear about it.
Well, neither do I. I'm not especially interested. Except one page.
One page?
And I've cut that page out. I just wanted you to see this particular copy of the Bible. I was about to say, when you interrupted me, that this copy of the Bible lacks the secret formula for power. I keep that one page elsewhere.
What's on that page?
I don't ask this question casually. Do you really want to know?
Why do you think I came all the way out here tonight? Yes, of course I want to know.
Not just yet. I mean to let you see it, but I must tell you something about it first. This page contains the rules for generating that mysterious power I mentioned. I've tried it. It works. It worked for me. It will work for you.
This is only the Sermon on the Mount.
It only seems simple because it was spoken so dispassionately, with no oratorical bombast, with no warning that the formula he was about to state was the key to power.
And this that you've underlined, the key is here.
Those few simple words from the Gospel of St. Matthew.
More riddles. Well, it serves me right for coming all the way out here on a foolish impulse. I'm just a hard-working doctor who has to face the realities of sick and broken bodies. I have enough well-meaning friends who want to give me advice about my personal life without adding strangers to the list.
You're no stranger to me. I know about you, Dr. Hudson. I've taken the trouble to inquire. You're nursing a grief. How can you advance and build as a healer of men when you cling to someone who's gone? Earth-binding yourself and her both.
Is this what your precious wisdom amounts to? Not to wear my grief on my sleeve, to pretend to be happy and satisfied with my life?
Well, it boils down to this, as I interpret it. If you had an inadequate personality, made so by grief or lack of direction, and you wanted to give it a chance to be something more important, where would you find the building materials?
Well, I suppose I'd build it out of other personalities. Is that what you're driving at?
This theory I'm talking about doesn't ask you to build your personality out of other personalities, but into them, like a blood transfusion. You can understand that, can't you?
You'll forgive me if I don't try to understand anything more tonight. I'm due back at the hospital. I'll say this for you, Faulkner. You practice what you preach. We haven't spoken a word about your granddaughter, and by this time tomorrow night, she may be dead.
When thou prayest, enter into thy closet. And when thou hast shut the door, pray unto thy Father which is in secret. And thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly.
Day began miserably. Murphy, the specialist from Boston, telephoned that it was impossible for him to fly out. In another 24 hours, a young girl on the very threshold of life would probably die. We, the healers, had once more failed to heal. I'm sorry. We did all we could.
I think I knew all along. That's why I came. Hudson, will you try?
Me? You want me to operate?
Yes. I'll give you my trust if you'll give me your skill.
My skill? Tonsillectomy, appendectomy, occasionally a hernia or a gallstone operation. That's the limit of my experience. I'm no brain surgeon.
For everyone that asketh, receiveth. And he that seeketh, findeth.
But you're asking the impossible.
I believe in you. I know your history. I know you've seen this operation performed. You can do this if you will. May I tell Dr. Means that you operate at my request?
Means would never consent.
He's already consented. I'm not the only one who believes in you.
Very well. Tell them to prepare surgery.
Yes, Doctor.
Mr. Faulkner, what is it?
Some water. Get me some water. Well, there's nothing I can do here now. I want to go home.
You'd better lie down. Let me get one of the doctors.
No.
But, Mr. Faulkner, you're a very sick man.
No, just old. I'm living on borrowed time. Just a little more time. That's all I ask now.
Did I, who had been powerless to save my wife, think I could tear the fingers of death from this girl? But almost immediately it came to me. The memory of Faulkner's voice.
For everyone that asketh, receiveth. And he that seeketh, findeth. So you're here.
I can tell you now. Your granddaughter's going to be all right.
I never doubted that.
No. It's strange, but you never did.
Not so strange. I knew. I believed.
And it doesn't seem strange to you that I performed an operation that I didn't know how to perform, and did it successfully. I've never liked the word miracle.
Nor I. But now you've seen and felt the power. You'll never be the same again. You know I'm going to die in an hour, in a day, or a few minutes from now.
Dr. Means told me. I didn't know he was your doctor.
Another accident. Hudson, I want you to have that power.
Tell me how.
Well, it isn't easy to explain. The key lies in the phrase, in secret.
In secret?
It must be. If you see someone in need, give him everything you can spare of yourself. If it is received and invested, no matter what it is, faith, love, yes, even money. Don't despise money. It will come back, but not the way you think.
There must be more to it than that.
Yes. You'll understand only little by little. It will plaster a mortgage on everything you think you own, and take away time and energy that you long to use for yourself. And you must work in secret. Always in secret. You must promise me that.
I promise, Mr. Faulkner.
The sun is setting, isn't it?
It's the time.
Open the curtains. Let me see.
Clive Faulkner did not die that night. We brought him to Center Hospital, where he lived on for several months and taught me to use the power of which he had spoken. Every achievement of my career dates from that time. No credit belongs to me, but I am prevented by solemn pact from saying so. That's why I record it here in this journal, which, like the power, must remain secret.